So within another sort of half an hour or so, the plants will grow. We can drop them in there, and the bioreactor will definitely, obviously, give you some much needed power source. But more importantly, it will give you a power source 24 hours a day, unlike the solar panels. Hey, g'day, and welcome back to another episode of Subnautica. In the last episode, we explored the floating island, and that gave us the ability to get the multi-purpose room. There's two areas to get the multi-purpose room. One is on the floating island, and the other one is off of Life Pod 6 in the cave system that we actually had before. Sorry, my mistake. Life Pod 17 in the cave system. So we actually got our blueprints from the floating island. So now it's how do we build a base? So building a base, what we actually need is we need our habitat builder, and we need the appropriate blueprints that we need to actually make it. So in this case here, multi-purpose room is 6 titanium, and if you remember and you've been watching the episodes, we are not short of titanium. We will be. So the other thing that we've got is we're able to get a few of these seeds. So this is also going to be good as another food source. So what we're going to do is offload some of the things we don't need. But we are going to keep the things we do need. And we're going to get a heap of titanium. The hardest thing in building a base is actually just choosing where you need to. The great thing about this game, so I'm just going to pick up a heap of these. The great thing about this game is to build and to deconstruct is a really simple process. So don't fret if you drop your base and then you sort of go, oh, I'm not really happy where it is, because pulling it apart is a lot easier. Now for myself, I'm going to build my base over here. So you've got your life pod. I'm going to build it over here for a couple of reasons. It's sort of where the direction where you explore a lot of your areas. The second thing is you just need a nice open area that will allow things like your sea moth, your cyclops when you build your cyclops, and also your prawn to be able to access and get in and out. You also want it large enough so you can actually build things around. Now I've never actually built the base here before, but I'm going to use this big open space here to build the base. I think this will be nice. It's a little bit different. So let's grab the 5, right click, multi-purpose room, and work out. So we want a little bit of height, and the reason we want the height is so we can actually walk in underneath it if we need to. So let's go the first one here. And I realise I've just forgotten something in this base.
It may be prudent to separate work and leisure spaces to maximise.
Alright, so that's actually going to be...
Treat this space as your home, but never forget that it is not.
So the other thing we now need to do is actually put on a door. And to put on a door, as it says there, we actually need some quartz. So we probably don't need to go all the way back for quartz. We should be able to. Yep, there we go. Excellent. So let's...
30 seconds.
Let's grab some quartz, let's grab some air, and now let's come back. Okay, so that's the base. We've got it in a nice open area, and as you can see, we've got a lot of space around it. Now we need to sort of plan where we're going to put our first door. So I'm going to put the door just on this side to start off with, remembering that we can always pull it apart afterwards. And let's drop the door there. Now you look in the top left hand corner, you can see that the total strength is 6.8, and that's actually quite important.
Warning, emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
Okay, so we're inside the base. but we do not have any power sources. So what we can do is step out, and to start off with, we can just drop on the exterior. We've got solar panels, so we need 2 quartz and some copper ore. So for this one, we are going to have to head back. So let's just quickly head back to our life pod. We'll use that so we've just got a little bit of light. So what we actually want to do is just build a couple of solar panels, which are actually going to be quite useless now in the middle of the night, but we will get power very quickly. Okay, so that when the sun comes out, that will actually give us our first lot of power. Now we don't actually have any more copper at the moment, so we won't be able to use it straight away. The next thing we want to do is actually just build a second component onto this. So we're just going to use up sort of some of our titanium, and I'm going to build another multi-purpose room, and these should just snap on. Let's move it around. There we go. It's separated it. Alright, so just press Q. As I said, it's really easy to drop the base. And that's got rid of that one. So what we're going to do is build a connector onto this. Like so. Now the sun's coming up because you can hear the power opening
restored.
up.
All primary systems online.
And there we go. There's a second one. You look at the top, so now the total base is 4.5. If we jump in,
30 seconds.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
welcome to your new base. As you can see, the solar panel on top is slowly charging, but that's not going to be enough to keep on building. We've got a couple of options for power. We've actually got our thermal plant, and we've got our bioreactor. Bioreactor obviously uses the silver and lubricant, and that will actually use plants and activities, and that's what we're actually going to use. So we're going to have this as our entrance. The second component that we've got is we've come in. We're going to head over here. As you can see with the food and water, we just want to keep that. So we're just going to now do one of these indoor grow beds where we need a little bit of titanium. Alright, welcome back. So now that we've started our habitat module, we want to actually make sure that we're using these items. They're actually rotten and they're rotting out, so we want to use them before they actually decompose. So the first thing we're actually going to do is actually start building a in-grow bed, and I want to put it in such a way on a bit of an angle there so I can still use other axes if I actually want to build doors between them. So there's one. Let's put another one here. Okay, so there's two. Let's get rid of that one, use the planter, and let's start planting some of these things. So they're rotten. I'm not sure if I can put them in there. I can, so we'll see if they actually grow. We'll use this one here to grow the Chinese potato, and we will use the plant pot, which needs one.
Seek fluid intake immediately.
We'll just put it over here for the time being. We maybe move it. And we'll drop that in there. Okay, so we will let those grow, but we need to get some water, and we should have some water here, so we're fine.
Vital signs stabilizing.
So the other things that we need to build, so that will keep our food, and that will give us not only a food source, but it will also then give us another power source, and we'll show that in a second. What we're going to have is this area is where we're going to fabricate and where we're actually going to basically build everything that we need. So another great thing on here is we can now actually have storage lockers, and they're properly sized storage lockers. So let's start dropping some of these around. You can usually fit 3 per wall. Now by clicking on them as well, you can change the name. So if I want this titanium, and in the bottom right hand corner you can change the colours. So you can actually put a couple of colours that will denote to you. So titanium, I sort of think blue, so I can put that in there. Then you can actually put other components. Quartz is more like a whitey colour, and you can just bring in those colours as well, just to remind you. Now normally these panels here give you access, or you can build on them to build other modifications or to build other rooms. These plain walls do not extend, so the plain walls you could definitely use. If I'm going to extend the base out, I'm probably going to put a doorway here, so I'm not going to actually build any more. So the next thing we want to actually focus on, the bioreactor will actually come in. So we actually want to start building our bioreactor. So the bioreactor is 3 titanium, a wiring kit, and a lubricant. We know the lubricant can be done through the creep vines, and the wiring kit, as we've built the wiring kit before, the wiring kit is actually, let's get it up there. Wiring kit is 2 silver ore. So let's drop some of these things that we don't need in here. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so now we've actually just come back from our life pod bringing some of our components. So what we actually want to do is we want to first of all build our fabricator. So therefore we've got a fabricator here. And what we're trying to do is actually build our, so we're not reliant on our life pod anymore. So there's our fabricator. Now the fabricator will use a lot of power, and the 75 really is just to get the start of this base. Just to have oxygen inside, but it's not actually how we're gonna live and breathe off of this this unit. The next thing we wanted to build was, now we've got our fabricator, we wanted to build our bioreactor. So our bioreactor, as we had before, was titanium, wiring kit, and lubricants. Now we've got the fabricator. We can make our lubricant. Get our seed line cluster. Okay, you see it just takes off 5, so it does use a little bit of power. And let's have that bioreactor, so it doesn't really matter which way it faces. Keeping in mind I'm going to have plant samples down that way, so I'm probably going to have my bioreactor facing this way, and it'll make more sense once it's there. So there we go, and let's rotate it so you can see there, so it's actually now facing me.
A reliable power source
Isn't
is a critical
she
step towards
beautiful?
self-sufficiency. Consider keeping a photo journal of your achievements to motivate you in times of despair.
There we go. Might as well. F11. Nice photo opportunity. Let's go back to see how our plants have been going. So they've been slowly growing. So what we actually want to do is we just want to multiply them to get them out there. So we're just going to cut these and drop these little babies in here. Take one for ourselves, and that should be a full size one, and that full size one we should be able to now drop into the bioreactor. Switch containers, and there we go. So within another sort of half an hour or so, the plants will grow. We can drop them in there, and the bioreactor will definitely, obviously, give you some much needed power source. But more importantly, it will give you a power source 24 hours a day, unlike the solar panels that will only give you power, obviously, during the daytime. Now, we've also got the thermal reactor. But I haven't seen any thermal sites currently near where my base is, so obviously we won't be able to use those at the moment. But there you have it. To me, that is the basic necessities for starting your base. So it's a power source, 2 types of power sources, a couple of cupboards, a fabricator, and now I've got a permanent food and water source slowly being built. Obviously we're going to expand on that. We're going to expand through that through the series, but I just wanted to give you a basic base building and also how to get the blueprints itself. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying the series. Don't forget to hit the likes and the subscribes, and look forward to seeing you in the next episode.